Anyways, so we got another video or so that says, I don't like Monster Hunter Wilds. So it's kind of funny, right? It's kind of funny now that a lot of people are starting to like review Monster Hunter Wilds after they like kind of like put many hours into it, right? I'm kind of very curious what other people think about Monster Hunter Wilds. Let's see if they agree, you know, on what a lot of the people are saying in the community, right? A lot of people in the community say that it's easy, you know. Some of them are not a fan of what they did with the classes. Some of them are, which is fine, you know, but I still, you know, personally, I still approve to make all of the classes fun. Just like what Donald Trump says, you know, make all the classes great again, you know? So, anyways, let's go take a look and see what this person has to say. Their name is Rada Tosker, so I'm very curious what they have to say about their opinion on Monster Hunter.
This video is going to be a critical review of Monster Hunter Wilds.
Okay.
In it, I'll be talking about my problems with the difficulty, the story, the entire structure of the game,
okay,
and my concerns over the direction of the series.
Oh.
Not everything in this video will be negative, but it will be negative overall.
Oh, well then. Well, to be honest, I'm going to be honest with you. Negativity does not mean you hate it and you think it's trash. It just means you're criticizing the game. That is basically it. Criticism is where it needs to be. I can never understand how these people cannot accept criticism about the game itself. It's like a lot of people get offended or so when we criticize the game, especially for us people who are older Monster Hunter players who we criticize the game, and then these other random people or so are like saying we're grifters, we're elitist, we're all of this other stuff because we criticize the game, you know? No, it's because we love the game. We love the franchise. We want this franchise to be better than ever. But if you people are trying to hide away the criticism or so, you're not gonna let this game grow, and it's gonna be like a Genshin Impact, bro. If that's what you want, if that's literally what you want to make Monster Hunter the franchise as a Genshin Impact, bro, go play Genshin Impact. I'm sorry. Just go play Genshin Impact if you want that shit, you know? If you don't want, you know, criticism or so in a game, go play Genshin Impact. I have no sympathy whatsoever, you know, for anybody who rejects criticism whatsoever. I'm hard on this game because I know for a fact it can do better. I know for a fact it can do better, okay? It's the goddamn anniversary for Monster Hunter, for fuck's sakes, you know? It could have done better.
As even the things I like are impacted by the things I don't. I realize that this can be an abrasive topic, especially if you like Monster Hunter Wilds. So I will remind you that you can exit out of this video at any time.
Nah, man, just say fuck them, man, bro. Who cares? Who cares, bro? You speak your opinion about the game itself, bro. It's an opinion at the end of the day, and it's an actual criticism about the game itself. We're gonna find out these criticisms specifically. How dare we old people criticize a franchise we followed for ages, so we know if Capcom is bullshitting us on what we deserve and what they can do. Exactly. We want this game to be good. It has potential to be good. But the way how it was delivered, a lot of us are fucking worried about it, to be honest.
But if you choose to stick around and hear me out, I'm sure you'll realize that I love Monster Hunter, and you'll agree with at least some of the reasons why I found it so disappointing.
All right.
Before we start, though, I think it's important to give some context. There is a kind of old gen versus new gen attitude in the...
Oh my, bro, he's already talking about it immediately with new generations and old generation players, dude. He's already talking, bro, dude. I love this guy. This guy is already amazing, bro. I'm gonna sub to this guy. Oof, man, dude, you've earned my subscription already immediately. Like, I'm only like a couple seconds in the video, and man, he's already about to talk about that shit.
Monster Hunter community, and I want to make it clear that this video is not one of those. My first and favorite Monster Hunter is Monster Hunter World. I've played 4U and 3U, and I think there's a lot to enjoy about those games, but I would not want to go back to those systems, and I don't believe that they're better than what was introduced in Monster Hunter World.
True, I'll be honest with you, a lot of stuff in Monster Hunter World does feel pretty good. Now, do I feel like they went a little bit overboard in Wilds? Yeah. I feel like, you know, it's a little bit overboard in Wilds when the cat literally does everything for you. Like, I hardly have to heal as much because the cat literally, like, you know, kind of like does everything.
an old gen versus new gen argument, it's a new fan versus newer fan argument. And it parallels the argument we've already had between the Monster Hunter World fans and the Monster Hunter Rise fans. Monster Hunter Rise minimized or removed many of the elements I felt were important to Monster Hunter World. Monster Hunter Rise is flashier, faster, easier. Tracking was removed, meaning you'd know where the monster is at all times. Counters or counter equivalents were given to most weapons, homogenizing the gameplay and making them feel samey. The moveset, the mobility, the damage, and the counters available to the hunter were so strong that player power had never been higher, and the monsters simply couldn't keep up. And that's the real source of the easiness in Monster Hunter Rise. It's not that the monsters move slowly, it's just that the hunter has more than enough ways to deal with whatever attacks, movement, or damage you give them. The importance of both nutrient...
you know, I didn't use it anyways, so it's still for me. It still feel the same, like because like at the end of the day, right? I used heavy bowgun, you know. Yeah, Rice's issue was that the hunter was too powered up. Yeah, it does. It really does. To be honest, when looking at you guys specifically with your specific classes, I'm like, damn, dude, shit, I don't even have none of that shit. I'm just kind of pew-pewing, you know, still pew-pewing over here, you know.
And food were greatly minimized because eating in Monster Hunter Rise would give you your full health bar. In Rise, when you're knocked down, you could use Wirefall to quickly get back into the action, or get to safety and heal at a pretty minor cost. Basically, eliminating or greatly reducing the situation in which you would be on the ground, and you have to carefully get up so as to not get hit again right away. The importance of sharpening was also reduced because of the Palamute. No longer do you have to wait for the monster to run away or to find an opportunity in combat. With the Palamute, you can just sharpen while on the move. And I think the philosophy behind all these changes is clear. It's all things that facilitate getting back into the fight with the monster.
Yeah.
And anything that interfered with that needed to be pared away.
Yep.
I really dislike this aspect of Monster Hunter Rise, but it had the excuse of being a portable title. They're often experimental and flashy.
Yeah, of course.
My hope was that Monster Hunter Wilds would not go in the same direction, that the ubiquity of counters would be removed. Preparation made more important, for Wirefall to be removed, for sharpening to go back to being more difficult, and for difficulty even in the low rank to exist in some way, for fights to be engaging, and for the difficulty to not exclusively be centered around endgame content or title updates. Some amount of difficulty spikes or walls distributed across the main story.
Damn, dude, that's crazy how he said there should be a wall or so, an armor check throughout the story. There should be. That's crazy, huh? When I said that, people were hating on me for that shit, you know?
As it turns out, Monster Hunter Wilds had none of that. Its art style and monster designs are closer to Monster Hunter World, and I appreciate that, but in terms of gameplay, it's continued to move in the Monster Hunter Rise direction. When I got into this series, it instantly became one of my favorites. Monster Hunter is as important to me as something like From Software games or Zelda. The kind of thing that I thought I'd be interested in for the rest of my life. But if the next Monster Hunter game releases, and I find that it's continued to go in this direction, then I probably won't follow.
Damn, that's crazy. That's what I said too. This is where you know you need to effing upgrade. Yep.
Before Monster Hunter Wilds...
You want to know something? I still had the base armor until like Gemma baited me. Literally, Gemma baited me of saying like, you need to get yourself some fire armor for this area. I'm like, okay, all right. It looks like we're going to be fighting a bunch of fire monsters, so I might as well make me, you know, a fire resistant armor, right? I got bamboozled. Nope. We went back to the fucking desert land, and then we came back later. Later we came back, but even then, I still had the what is it? The chicken armor set all the way to the like almost basically like midway or close to the end. Like literally when I'm about to fight Arcveiled is when I decided to get me some Guardian armor. That was literally the next upgrade. And I think I upgraded it because they gave me so much armor spheres. Like I literally upgraded the armor, and I was like literally face tanking a lot of the damage and barely even taking a lot of damage when I was doing the guard ability or so on the heavy bowgun.
Released. Polygon released an article titled "Monster Hunter Wilds is so streamlined it may have lost its soul."
Woo!
It's actually an excellent article and details many of the same problems I have with Monster Hunter Wilds. Of particular note is their comments on the difficulty. They describe it as agonizingly easy to veteran players. Quote, "I want to say Wilds is perhaps the easiest entry in the series yet, largely due to the new wound system, which allows you to perform special attacks on monsters that deal devastating amounts of damage, often netting you monster parts or in some cases knocking them over. The dual blades had me tearing through even the most formidable monsters, lacerating their legs, puncturing their hides, and creating wound after wound to continue a cycle of just dealing a disgusting amount of damage over and over and over again. In a way that almost felt mind-numbing. I zoned out during fights. My evade window was so large I could often get a boost from perfect dodging attacks, which meant when I would dodge I would also spin around in a flurry of blades, dealing even more damage. Frustrated, I switched to Hunting Horn to try and give myself a challenge, but the experience was mostly the same."
Crazy, huh? Crazy, huh? It caters to new players. It doesn't cater to us old players, which is fine. There's nothing wrong with it. But the problem is, they made it too easy that once that there is a challenge, those specific players who are new are gonna hate it. It's like how Rise is so freaking hard, then this game is freaking easy.
End quote. IGN's review video said many of the same things, and a great deal of that video was dedicated to criticizing how easy the game felt.
Every weapon also has a simple to execute focus strike that will deal a burst of damage to a wound and break it right away. So maximizing the amount of time you leave one open and then using that finisher before it closes naturally is an interesting subgame to manage. Or at least it would be if Wilds ever presented me with a challenge that pushed me to make those considerations. Whether I was playing online or solo, I've never had a mission reach the 20-minute mark.
Yep.
And I've only fainted 2 times total across dozens of hours.
Never got carded, and I only got fainted, what was it? One time? One time. That's it. One time. But that was just me farming for armor, though. And I didn't have flash pods with me to deal with the annoying Guardian Rathalos, but that's pretty much about it because the heavy bowgun feels like dog shit to fucking play, you know? So, because usually in the older games, right, I hardly ever needed to use flash bugs as much, right? You just kind of like put some sticky bombs on his face and, you know, you'll get him down, coming down or so. But in this game, it's kind of like sticky bombs are like rare to get in heavy bowguns. It's like super rare. It's very rare.
Compare that to World, which had real tests like Kieran, who smacked me silly my first couple of attempts, forcing me to regroup and craft an armor set around thunder resistance. And it's hard not to feel like Capcom's desire to make this a more inviting Monster Hunter sanded off some of the bumps I actually enjoyed in terms of overcoming big threats.
Damn, it's crazy how an IGN reviewer literally said he wants some challenges in the game. An IGN reviewer, bro. When literally everybody knows that IGN reviewers, you don't take their criticism seriously. If an IGN reviewer says that they want challenges in Monster Hunter Wild, you know they fucked up somewhere. You definitely know that Monster Hunter Wild definitely fucked up somewhere along the process of the development of making the game super streamlined, you know?
You know how odd it feels to have IGN and Polygon complain that the latest Monster Hunter game is too easy? And they are not isolated incidents. I watched many of the pre-release reviews, many of them from well-liked, established Monster Hunter YouTubers, and 100% of the reviews I watched felt that Wilds was too easy, maybe the easiest game in the series. Now admittedly, they did still give it a good review, but the point is that almost universally, reviewers listed it as a criticism. They agree with me. The only difference is that I perhaps think it's a bigger deal than they do.
Yeah, I think it's a bigger deal too.
I'll soon explain why.
Yeah.
But first we're going to have to deal with some platitudes. The topic of difficulty is often emotionally charged. Without fail,
it shouldn't be emotionally charged, in my personal opinion.
Seems to elicit the same series of replies in the comments. It's difficult for people to listen when they have these pre-packaged, ready-made replies, and having heard them so often, I'm going to try and preempt the situation and respond to the arguments I'm sure to hear now. Number 1. The games aren't getting easier, you're getting better. Or another similar phrase, the hardest Monster Hunter is the first one you play.
I've heard of this. There was one video that popped up or so on my feed that it says like, you know, The game is not easier, you're just getting better.
What these phrases are trying to say is that having played a Monster Hunter game, you will have acquired some skills that transfer to playing another Monster Hunter game.
Mm-hmm.
These skills include, but are not limited to, understanding how certain weapons work,
Yep.
understanding crafting,
Yep.
maybe understanding the general tempo of monster attacks.
Yep.
The point being made is that Monster Hunter has some transferable skills that will make your excursions into other Monster Hunter
Yeah.
games easier than they would have otherwise
Of course.
been. And they're right. The sentiment behind those phrases is true,
Mhm.
but the phrases themselves are not.
Exactly.
You are getting somewhat better as you play more of these games, but the games are also getting easier.
Oh, so just say it right, man. Oh, dude, I love this guy. This guy is amazing, bro. He is nailing everything that I've literally had criticism about this game itself. This guy is literally nailing it to a teeth, dude. It is crazy, dude. It's just a lame excuse to me, honestly. If anything, it tells me that Capcom didn't bother to consider the facts that there are old players. They kind of forgot who built them up, you know? They kind of literally forgot who built them up, you know? You never want to forget your core fan base. Do you want to end up like Call of Duty? You know? Their core fan base hates the shit out of them, you know? I don't play it anymore. I don't play Call of Duty anymore. Because that's just an abusive relationship right there, you know? But if Capcom is doing the same thing with Monster Hunter, with the Monster Hunter franchise, I'm not gonna be part of that abusive relationship at all, to be honest. No siree. No siree. I'd rather go play some of the other Monster Hunter games instead, you know, the ones that I didn't get the chance to play, you know?
Both of those things can be true at once. Now, I might be wrong, but I think the first time I heard the phrase, "the games aren't getting easier, you're getting better," was from a Gaijin Hunter video. And I believe he's done a lot to popularize that saying. So I think it says a lot that in his Monster Hunter Wilds video review, he said the following. Monster Hunter as a game is progressively easier the more experience you have in the series, but it's also true to say that Monster Hunter Wilds is probably the easiest entry in the series.
Yep.
End quote. In a later video, Gaijin Hunter does some testing that seems to confirm that fact. This is what he said.
Anyways, eating a Rathian Fireball, I just put on a basic high-rank leather set, 160 defense. So this will be a little bit bigger damage numbers than you'll get with your more beefed-up high-rank set, but I wanted to make sure that I could see the difference. Looking at just a normal 5-star threat pretty much is where the Tempered starts at its 3-star rating. And it just goes up from there. So if you compare a normal 3-star rated one to a Tempered 5-star, it's 225% more damage. What you're seeing here is a breath attack, and those are the different damages that I took. For comparison, I did go back to Monster Hunter Rise and I recreated the same set with the same elemental weaknesses and the defense of 160 or whatever it was, and I ate a high rank Rathian Fireball to the face a few times, and it measured out to roughly about 67.5 damage, which would put it right in between about the 4 and 5 star for the normal Rathian, which is interesting. So it definitely, when we think that the monsters aren't hitting as hard as they did in even something like Rise, I think there is some merit to that claim because that's what I'm seeing.
Damn, with science proof too as well. To fix it, just bring back analog as the attack button and boom, it's freaking hard. True. Bring back the analog fight stick, fight attack, just bring that back,
Now the 3-star is the baseline for monsters.
Mm-hmm.
It's the default.
Yep.
And it's what we have to fight in basically all of the low rank and high rank story.
Yep.
And that means that it's not at all a surprise that people are finding Monster Hunter Wilds to be significantly easier than previous titles.
Mm-hmm.
If Gaijin Hunter's numbers are to be believed, and I do believe them, then a Rathian in Monster Hunter Rise, a Monster Hunter often criticized for being too easy, does 36% more damage than the normal Rathian in Monster Hunter Wilds.
That's crazy. 36% more damage, dude.
Which means that you are not just getting better, the games are in fact getting easier. Now,
I love this content creator so far. I love this content creator, dude. He is nailing shit on point, bro.
there's a related phrase, but it
True.
differs.
There's a thing called too much quality of life changes. There is an actual thing called Too much is a good thing. That is the phrase that is a phrase that's always been said as old as time. Too much of a good thing is bad for you, you know? I'm just saying, you know?
It's enough that I'm going to address it independently. And that phrase is, low rank has always been easy, or the games have always been easy until the...
Oh, sorry about that. My mom came in. I need to go do something real quick, all right? Give me 1 second, okay? I need to stop recording too as well. Sorry about that. Sorry about that. Mama Azathoth has not been feeling very well as the past past couple of days or so. She's been kind of feeling a little bit tired. So, you know, Mama Azathoth is old. So, you know, human age is getting to her, you know? So, you know, but it is what it is. I try my best to take care of her as best I can, as much as I can support her, you know? So, but, you know, I try my best. But anyways, let's get back to it. So, let's keep hearing more of the actual, like, you know, criticism is good criticism. It does not mean negativity anymore, you know? I hated that now in 2025, when you criticize something, it means that you're negative, you're rage baiting, you're being such a negative Nancy, you know? God, dude, honestly, these people are unbelievable to freaking hear, to be honest.
title updates, or Monster Hunter World was also easy. And what I would say to that is that Monster Hunter World is not easy in the same way that Monster Hunter Wilds is easy.
Exactly.
It's a matter of degrees. If, for example, I would say Monster Hunter World was this difficult, then Monster Hunter Wilds I would put down here. You can't...
Sheesh. Perfect. That is the perfect way to say it, too.
just say Monster Hunter World was easy too as a catch-all term when we're not taking into account the degree. You may have had the subjective experience of finding Monster Hunter World easy, but if we look at the qualities of the two games objectively, we should expect most people will find World much, much harder. And I can demonstrate that just by looking at the damage that the first few monsters do in both games. In World, the first 6 monsters you fight are Great Jagras, Kuluyaku, Puke Puke, Baroth, Juratotis, and Tobikadachi. And what's interesting is that World seems to want you to upgrade your armor. Because by the time you get to Tobikadachi, if you haven't upgraded your armor, many of his attacks will get close to one-shotting you. And that's because Wilds is set...
Damn, crazy, huh? Crazy, huh?
...up to be easier. In World, you do not have easy access to your maximum health that you would get from eating. Because in order to get health from eating, the ingredient needs to be fresh. What ingredients are fresh is random, and you don't have access to all the ingredients to begin with. Those are earned through optional quests and the like. And you can only use 2 ingredients in the beginning, so the maximum health upgrade you can get is 20. And that 20 is not guaranteed. It could be 10, it could be nothing. Which means that the Monster Hunter Wilds hunter will start off every quest at full health, giving him 30 to 50 health more than the World Hunter would have at similar early quests. And you can't easily raise your health through nutrients or a max potion, because before you kill Tobikadachi, you do not have access to your farm, meaning you would have to gather the ingredients for your nutrients manually. And in fact, that's also another way in which Monster Hunter Wilds is easier. I always had mega potions in Wilds.
Yep. And even then, you want to know something? I rarely use my mega potions. I just use normal potions. Not even that, they decided to give the first armor set Divine Blessing level 3, so that's a plus. Oh yeah, that's actually, you know what? That's probably the reason why I've never even bothered changing much of my armor, because of that Divine Blessing 3. I just noticed something too. I rarely get bouncing attacks in Monster Hunter Wilds. Really? You rarely get bouncing attacks? Wow.
Wilds. I think they must have come from quests. They may have gotten there as quest rewards along with honey and other materials to make more mega potions. Whatever the reason, I never had to gather for mega potions, I just seemed to have an unlimited supply.
Same. Yep.
And here's another thing. While I was playing Wilds with the base armor set to see how high I could go before I needed to change my armor, I got to Uthduna, and Uthduna is not the equivalent of a Tobikadachi. It's the apex of the region, and is more the equivalent of something like Rathalos or Diablos.
Damn. Damn, dude. Dude, this guy is literally going in depth, and everyone was calling me an elitist and a grifter, and like a rage baiter. They were calling me everything in the book, but man, this guy is literally laying out all the problems that's wrong with this game. That I literally called out a lot of the issues of this game itself.
And those monsters definitely would be killing me instantly. Uthduna doesn't, because of the health thing that I described already. But still, without armor upgrades, yeah, Uthduna was doing a lot of damage. What I found interesting, though, was that he couldn't really finish me off. I was taking damage and many of the attacks left me close to dying, but they never really killed me.
What?
It's much harder in Wilds to put me in a uncomfortable situation when I can just press the secret button and the secret will come get me. It isn't even just that the secret can get you when you're knocked on the ground. You don't have to be on the ground. If you want to heal, you just run away from the monster, call the secret, and heal while you're going around in the circle. It's very hard for the monster to put you in an uncomfortable situation where you feel at risk of dying. And I didn't really appreciate how stark the difference was until I went back to World to get this footage. So just to conclude, in Monster Hunter Wilds, the hunter has more health, the monsters do less damage, you have easier access to stronger healing, and it's much easier to make use of that healing since you can use the secret to pick you up and carry you around while you heal or sharpen or whatever.
That's why there's a lot of things, like there's a lot of things that Asmongold said, right? Because he's a new hunter, right? He is 100% a new hunter. He's definitely not an old hunter, right? And and there's a lot of things that I disagree with him of what he says about Monster Hunter Wilds that I do not approve whatsoever, you know? Does he have the biggest influence in the sphere of video game? Yes. Do I agree with him with some of his takes or so in Monster Hunter Wild? Hell fucking no, I do not agree with a lot of the takes that he says about Monster Hunter Wilds.
So, the point being, Monster Hunter Wilds really is just unusually easy.
Yeah.
Now that we've established that, let's talk about why that's a problem. When I first played World, what I noticed was that this game had a focus on several elements that made it stand out from other action games. First of all was commitment. One of the reasons I fell in love with Monster Hunter's combat when I played it in Monster Hunter World is that the gameplay is slower and more commitment heavy than even other action games that are famous for it. Things like Dark Souls and Elden Ring are often praised for their slow, deliberate combat. They're praised for their heavy commitment to weapon attacks and the risk of getting hit that they entail.
Yep.
Well, Monster Hunter has that, but to a much greater degree. There is more commitment, a greater emphasis on positioning and attack angles. Each weapon is also complex and has many more moves available to it, and with those additional moves comes more choices for you as the player to make. In my opinion, that's where Monster Hunter shines. It's what sets it apart and above other games in its genre. And it is specifically commitment to attacks and the focus on positioning that Capcom decided to take behind the shed and shoot.
Oh, dude, man, this guy is literally wording everything that's literally like what I've been trying to convey or something. We're trying to talk about or so. But like I said, right, I'm not no, you know, this guy understands it from like ins and out and everything, right? But man, he definitely puts the words how it is. 100%, dude. For me, I'm harsh because that's how I am, you know. I give tough love and I will criticize you until you understand what you did wrong, okay?
Focus mode lets all weapons attack in any direction whenever they want. It's no longer important to plan out and line up your attacks. And this is very related to the commitment I was talking about because you no longer have to commit to a direction. Greatsword got the worst of it. It can aim in focus mode while charging up its attacks, and it can do that for every level of its charge. The Greatsword was the poster boy for commitment. Its attacks were slow, it did big damage, but the angles in which it could attack were narrow. And now, not only can it attack in any direction, it can change the direction of its attack 180 degrees as it's attacking. You know, the fantasy of the biggest final hit that the Greatsword does is that the momentum is so strong that after the first hit, it carries you forward to the second. But that's no longer the case, because after the first hit, you can continue to angle the attack and even force yourself to go in the opposite direction. And it's not just about positioning, commitment of all kinds has been...
That's why, you know, when I saw Asmongold literally said that Avowed was actually a pretty decent game or so, I question his validity, like his like gamer card, basically, right? I question his gamer card right at that point, you know? I'm just saying.
Reduced. Dual blades don't have to commit to Demon Dance, they can dodge out of it. Longsword doesn't have to commit to Helmbreaker, it can stop in the middle of the air. And if it does choose to do the Helmbreaker, its follow-up Spirit Release Slash gives you hyper armor and added defense for its duration. We wouldn't want you facing consequences for your big attacks, now would we?
It gives you hyper armor? Holy cow, dude. God lord.
All of the shield weapons have access to a perfect guard that is very...
Oh, dude, he's gonna talk about it right here. He's gonna talk. Oh, dude. Oh my god, dude. I love this guy, dude. I literally love this guy. Yeah, from Aspen's perspective, he only knows MMOs because that's all he ever plays. That's true. That's true. I do know that for a fact, yeah. That's why when I heard him like talking about the Monster Hunter Wild stuff, I'm gonna be honest with you. I threw his opinion out the window immediately. At least for like some of them, because for some of them I'm just like, man, dude, they really cater this game to you, don't they? Damn, that's pretty sad. When an actual challenge pops up in a like if they ever do like the normal stuff for Monster Hunter and stuff like that in the future games, he's probably gonna have a tough ass time, dude. And to be honest, he doesn't grow as a player, you know? The problem is that game is hand holding him so hard that he just doesn't grow, you know? Hey, Sierra. So him playing Avowed and never played the Elder Scrolls, I can see why he is like, oh, things is not so bad. You want to know something? I've never played Elder Scrolls, and even I can tell that game was terrible. Because you want to know something? I actually played games. That's why. There's a difference. There is a difference. Even I didn't even play Elder Scrolls, and I could even tell. I played Kingdom Hearts, bro. I played fucking Sonic from the Sega Genesis or the Sega Mega Drive. I played Spyro, the first Spyro game on the PS1, you know? Kingdom Hearts 1, Kingdom Hearts 2, Kingdom Hearts Recoded, Kingdom Hearts freaking, was it Unchained or whatever the fuck it's called? I forgot what it's called or so. I played Call of Duty 1, Call of Duty 2, Call of Duty 3, fucking Black Ops is where I started playing the multiplayer stuff, you know? I played, let me see. You know, the funny thing about it is that I played Black Ops 1. I played the Senran Kagura stuff in between from time to time. And then I played Black Ops 2, Black Ops 3, Black Ops 4, and all the Call of Duties in between, like the Modern Warfare 3, fucking Ghost, Advanced Warfare and stuff like that, Advanced Warfare and all that stuff, right? You want to know something? You cannot trick me with the whole, you know, with the whole freaking honeymoon phase. You can't trick me with the honeymoon phase. I'm sorry. Call of Duty has trained me to not be like that, to suck the dick off of these freaking publishers. Call of Duty has trained me so well in criticizing games now these days. So I have to thank Call of Duty for that at the same time. But anyone knows actually plays games, knows that those fucking games didn't just magically get worse. That's true, because you want to know something? I may not have played Elder Scrolls, but I've seen videos, I've seen Let's Plays, I've seen the memes, I've seen the mod showcase, I've seen pretty much a lot of things about the Elder Scrolls.
Very strong and has very generous timing. It's very easy to perform. And it seems like every weapon has like a dozen of these little changes that remove their disadvantages.
Yep.
I'm not going to keep talking about this because I could make a 20-minute long video on just the longsword. In fact,
here, let me give you one for the heavy bowgun right now. That takes away literally everything of the disadvantage of heavy bowgun. You literally can block basically 95, almost 99% of every single attack in this game. There's probably like maybe Jindahad's, like there's Jindahad's fucking like cataclysmic like ultimate wipeout or so. You cannot block that because someone already proved it to me already. You cannot block, let's see, what else can you not block? I have no fucking idea, to be honest. Maybe one of the attacks from Joshia probably, or whatever. Joshia, whatever the fuck. Joe Schmo, I'm gonna call him Joe Schmo. You know, there's probably maybe one attack maybe from there. Makes Lance pointless. Bro, my shield can literally do anything what a Lance and a Guns player can do. My shield, my tiny ass shield can do anything what a gun lance and a freaking lance can do. That is what's jarring to me, to be honest. The whole point of a heavy bow gun is that you can block some attacks. You cannot block a big attack. Jin Dahat's breathing, that he literally shoots you from across the map, you can block that shit, dude. You can straight up block that shit. That is the same, like, that literally gives me the same animation as Kolve Teroth's breath or so. If you're far away from Kolve Teroth will do this, like, heat breath from, like, shooting downwards and then shooting upwards. I can't block that shit in Monster Hunter World. So I had to fucking dodge or put away my weapon. But in Monster Hunter Wild, Jin Dahat does the same thing as what Kolve Teroth does. And I can block that shit like it's nothing. And if I time my guard correctly, I don't lose any HP. If you time your guard correctly on certain attacks, you don't lose any HP. I have noticed that too. If you look at my VODs or so specifically and you watch my HP for certain attacks specifically on certain monsters, you don't lose any HP. You literally lose no HP.
I did do that. The point I'm making is that it's very disappointing whenever I see this element that I value so highly, this element of commitment and limitation,
exactly,
being de-emphasized or removed.
Yep.
It's sad to come to the realization that Capcom doesn't see this as an integral part of the Monster Hunter series, and it's something that I thought was. In a similar vein are things like sharpening. In World, because you had no access to the Sacred, you would have to find a time to sharpen.
Yep.
So you would either sharpen when the monster runs from you, or you would sharpen in the middle of combat when you find an opening.
This is knowledge. This is all knowledge. This is knowledge that you learn through trial and error and experience and makes you a better hunter. You know? What's wrong of you improving to become a better hunter? What's wrong with that? There's nothing wrong with it, you know?
It's one of those preparation aspects that sells you on the fantasy that you're hunting a monster.
Exactly.
With the Sacred, you don't have to really do anything to sharpen. You just get on the Sacred and you sharpen.
Yep.
In Wilds, it feels more like a vestigial organ, like something that's left behind. It doesn't serve a purpose anymore.
Yep.
To me, it feels like Capcom doesn't believe in sharpening. It doesn't feel like it's doing anything important, but it didn't have the balls to remove it in this game.
You want to know something in Heavy Bowgun too? I'm going to add on to this. In Heavy Bowgun, crafting bullets feels meaningless. The only thing you need to craft are elemental bullets, and that is it, dude. You don't need to craft bullets for piercing, for spread ammo, and for, like, I think you need to do for normal ammo, right? Yeah, for normal ammo. Yeah. You don't even need to craft. Crafting is just throwing out the window when that was a poor part of the core mechanic or so of always carrying supplies with you to make ammo in order for you to defeat a monster, you know? That's just been completely gone. That's just completely gone. All you need to do is just bring some, like, elementals for, like, elemental, whatever element that you're using. If you're using water, just bring in flow fern. Or if you're bringing a fire weapon or so for fire bullets, just bring fire herbs, and that's it. You know, that's it. That's all you need to do. Just bring the specific, you know, thunder bugs for thunder ammo. You know, what is it? Fucking, I forgot the name for the ice one or so. You just bring that one or so for the ice bullets, and that's it. You know.
If we keep heading in this direction, I suspect in the next game it just won't exist.
True.
Because in a way it kind of doesn't exist already.
Yep.
One of the things that sharpness does is that if your weapon goes too low, it'll start bouncing off of certain hard parts of the monster. In Monster Hunter World, you could bounce off of a monster as early as the second monster. Kuluyaku could dig up a rock, and if you hit the rock, you'd bounce off of him.
Isn't there, was this a thing or so in the older games? Like, if your sharpness reaches all the way too low or so, doesn't your weapon break? I think I remember that or so. I think in the older games, but I don't remember if it's true or not. That, like, you know, the melee weapon or so would, like, break if, like, the sharpness drops way too low. Like, I really don't remember if that's true or not. You guys can quote me on it if not. Holy shit, weapons could break? It does break because you cannot hit the monster, but actually breaking, no. Let me see. Let me double check real quick. Let me see. Let me see. Let me see. Let me see. Let me get ChatGPT here. Let's ask ChatGPT, shall we? I thought it showed like an animation or so, like the weapon would like deteriorate or so, like so badly or so that you couldn't do anything. That's what I thought. It's kind of weird. I felt like it was in this game or so, because I don't know. Maybe I could be wrong. I'll have to take a look at it or so. We'll see. We'll take a look at it after this video.
It's a great introduction into just bouncing in general. In Monster Hunter Wilds, though, I didn't even know that there was weapon bouncing until deep down the line. For the first 6 hours or so, I was convinced that the mechanic was more or less removed. And the problem I have with this minimization is the same problem I had with the minimization of commitment.
Yep.
World led me to believe that this was an integral part of the series, the preparation aspect. The elements in the game that's trying to sell you on the hunting fantasy. Things that were inconvenient but were necessary to optimally hunt the monster. This includes monster tracking, weapon sharpening, hot and cold drinks, different monsters doing different kinds of status effects that require different kinds of solutions such as poison, sleep, blights, and the like.
I rarely used an antidote potion, or like any of like, you know, the status effect stuff, right? I rarely used any of those. My cat literally did everything for me.
In Wilds, though, they were minimized or removed, so tracking's gone completely. Sharpening is less important because you don't bounce off of monsters very often, and it's easier to do because you can just call your sacred to do it safely. In its current implementation, I think it just might as well be removed. I'd rather have nothing than this.
True.
We do still have different status effects and different concoctions that will heal the different status effects, but now we just have a heal status effect menu option, so you can just bring all of the different status effect items, and you don't have to select them. Your hunter will automatically choose the best one for the situation. Any meal will give you your full health buff, and it will last anywhere from 30 to 50 minutes. You don't have to slowly build up the effectiveness of your canteen over the course of the game. The full health benefit is just given to you right away. When knocked down after taking a big hit of damage, you no longer have to carefully get up so as to not get hit again. You can just call this sacred. He'll easily take you to safety, and you'll be mounted while you heal. In a way, it's even worse than the wirefall in Monster Hunter Rise, because it's an infinite wirefall that also puts you immediately on your mount, making it very difficult for monsters to put you in uncomfortable situations. And then there are things like stun. I also thought stun might have been removed from the game, since throughout my 65 or so hour playthrough, I may have gotten stunned less than, 10 times.
I think I got stunned maybe one time, maybe one time. I think. If I'm trying to remember if I got stunned or not. It could maybe be one. Hey, Mystic.
I don't think I noticed anything like tremors either, or wind resistance.
Nope. I didn't. Bro, tremor resistance has been has kind of like just slowly just disappeared or so. I remember tremor resistance was such a bitch to fucking deal with. I remember tremor resistance like the back of my hand, dude. God lord, that shit was annoying as shit. But like, no, I don't really remember any tremor resistance whatsoever, like tremor whatsoever in this game. I didn't get tremored at all.
It's like all these things that people said were tedious and annoying have been removed, so that you can get back to fighting the monster as quickly as possible. Even getting knocked down is uncomfortable. It's tedious and annoying. The secret will get you up and get you back into the fight.
I know.
Getting stunned and not being able to control your hunter is annoying. Let's minimize its effects. Bouncing off of monster parts is tedious. Let's reduce the frequency of that.
I feel like too much. Yeah, there's just too much life quality of changes. To be honest, it really does feel like. I feel like they're going a little bit too overboard. They're gonna go way too. They're already going hard mainstream, but if they go even further mainstream, That's it, dude. I'm done. I'm not playing any more Monster Hunter games. That's it for me, bro. No, 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 no. I have Devil Joe Protobore third fight most of the time, and I get trembled. Yeah, I remember that shit. Another thing that annoyed me a little is that the Palico in this game does everything, heals and revives the ones. They put traps down, flash bugs, etc. Not like the older that you needed to train your Palico in one specific class, like the Bomber, Trapper, Healer. Yeah. They literally got rid of the class system for the cat and just literally put it all together. That's what they did. They just melded all of the support classes and literally into one cat, and that's it, dude. There's no point. There's literally no point of you like, they just got rid of that class system, to be honest. I prefer that class system personally when it came to the cat stuff, but I don't know who the fuck hated it, but they should probably not listen to them anymore, to be honest. I feel like they're kind of like, there are some people who give like criticism, like actual opinions about the game, but like in the wrong direction, to be honest, you know? Like there's some that give good opinions, and then there's some who do not give good opinions, and you should not be listening to them whatsoever.
Having to stop and
I feel like listening too much to the community to cater a certain type of audience is too much, you know?
in the middle of a fight is annoying and let you do it on the secret, and then the next game will just take it out. You can't control your hunter for a little bit when you feel a tremor. Let's reduce it to the point that nobody notices it's there.
Yep.
The thing is, I liked the tedious and annoying elements of Monster Hunter. Was it not okay for there to be one game that had this focus on deliberateness, on preparation, on commitment? That made you be careful where on the monster you attack? That made you be careful how you attack and in what direction you attack? And that would penalize you if you didn't do it or did it poorly? There's a term coined by people that agree with me called, I want to play Monster Hunter, not Monster Fighter, or something to that effect. It's called Monster Hunter, not Monster Fighter, when you're arguing as to the direction the series is going. The phrase is expressing a desire to not move away from the hunting simulation aspects, the preparation aspects, the tedious and annoying aspects that the current games seem to eschew. Now, of course, I agree with the statement. I love the monster fighting. I like getting to the monster and fighting it. That's great.
Yeah.
But the monster hunting parts, the parts that come before the fighting, the parts that make the fighting a little bit more deliberate,
Yep.
add spice to the fighting. In my opinion, it
Yep.
makes the fighting better. It makes you engage with the monster fighting in a deeper way, and it lets you appreciate it in a deeper way. Just as an example, I really like the monster designs on these monsters. Monster Hunter Wilds really did a phenomenal job with almost all of them.
True.
One of the things I
True.
appreciate the most about the monster designs is that they're not just fantasy monsters. They're animals that live in a fantasy environment. They
Yep.
live in a fictional environment. And their design and movements and attacks reflect that.
I gotta agree.
But it's hard to appreciate both that aspect of the monster and even the fight itself during the low rank when you're breezing through everything and nothing provides any kind of challenge.
Oh my god, this guy is just nailing everything that I've had problems with this game, dude. Man, dude, honestly, bro, man, this guy is just nailing everything that I've commented about this game itself.
These monsters are great and they deserve better than this. Lalabarina deserves a better first impression. So does Uthduna, so does New Udra. I think it's crazy that people think it's okay to be able to sleepwalk through low rank. It's not. People will use this argument that, oh, the low ranks have always been easy. But it's not true. It's never been this easy.
Oh, chat, I am smiling so hard of how this guy is just literally nailing everything I've been saying about this game itself, man. Like, honestly, man.
You couldn't just be asleep in Monster Hunter World. A little Kuluyaku with a rock will do over 50% of your health in one hit, and he has a high propensity to stun with that attack, letting him follow up with another attack that will finish you off. There is no wall in Monster Hunter Wilds. There's nothing as difficult as an Anjanath that suddenly makes you cart and realize—
He said Anjanath! Fuck off, comment section. Whoever said that Angie was not supposed to be a wall. Oh my god, dude. Bro, I love this guy, bro. I swear to, he fucking said the name Angie, bro. Oh, man, dude. Man. Remember, chat? Remember when I literally said that Angie was literally like one of the wall blocks or so for Monster Hunter World back then or so, right? Back on base, Monster Hunter World. He literally just said Angie, dude. Dude, he did. He did felt a little bit of a wall, to be honest. If you didn't have your armor, if you did not check your armor upgraded or do anything or stuff like that, you know? Like, even I did. I had a problem with him. There was like I think like 1 or 2 moves that I could not block against him, you know, and it caught me off guard, you know, and I'm like, oh, now I know which specific attacks that I cannot block from him, you know. Now I'm learning of what to do against the monster, you know. In Monster Hunter Wilds, bro, I'm half asleep half the entire time, dude. All I'm doing is shoot. Fucking use my Wyvern Heart. Shoot. He's attacking me. Triangle, and circle at the same time. Guard. Oh, he's done attacking me. Shoot. Oh, he fell. Okay, hit the red thing. And then shoot. Oh, he's attacking me again. I block again. That's it. That's literally it.
Okay, I need to upgrade my armor. And again, I have to re-emphasize that it's not just about damage when it comes to Monster Hunter Wild's ease. It's the combination of a lot of little things. It's how strong your palico is. How convenient it is to use your sacred to get out of a sticky situation. It's about wounds often keeping a monster locked to a position and continuously taking damage over the course of a hunt. It's about how little monsters interfere with you. Be it bouncing off of monsters, wind resistance, tremors, or stuns, they're minimized to the point that you might suspect they're gone. So even if it was true that the monsters do comparable damage in low rank and high rank, Monster Hunter Wilds would still end up being much easier. One argument that I've heard is that the difficulty is at the very top. You know, at the end game, Tempered Gormagala 5-star actually is difficult.
That excuse, dude. I love it when people make excuses, bro. I really do love it when people make excuses for the game itself, man. They really want to defend the shit out of this game, dude, when they make excuses, bro. I love it when people, bro, because I love destroying people's analytics or so when they literally come up with excuses about the game itself. They can't just really accept the criticism and be like, you know what, you're right. You know what, yeah. You know what, they should probably do this part, you know, and all this other stuff. Yeah, you know what, that's understandable. No, we get people who get so offended, is so butthurt about people's opinions. It's the craziest thing about it.
And I'll concede that. At the endgame, 5 strength, Tempered Gormagala actually is pretty tough. But I think it's insane that we are okay with any level of difficulty, any level of engagement or challenge, being restricted to the end of the endgame. I'm not asking for everything to be super hard. I'm asking for challenge to be distributed across the low and high ranks as well.
Pray the Lord, man. Finally, oh man, dude, someone gets it, bro. Like, this guy understands what I'm trying to been conveying for such a while now, for a couple weeks. I've literally been saying this, to be honest. Well, it's Geekbot. Hey, Geekbot. Man, dude, honestly, it's crazy, to be honest, how that is. Hey, welcome, Geekbot. How you been? Finding Paradise. What the hell is that? Anyways, we gotta get back to this video. This is Monster Hunter stuff. This is exciting stuff, because finally, the honeymoon phase is over. But for me, it never really began, to be honest.
Something along the lines of Monster Hunter World is close to ideal. At the point in which you fight that first Anjanath, with the tools you have available, I still find it more difficult to beat that Anjanath than almost anything in Monster Hunter Wilds.
Those people in the comment sections who literally made fun of me, who were like arguing against me about Anjanath, dude. Oh my god, dude.
Alright, before we move off of the difficulty argument, I can already sense several other platitudes making their way to the comment section, so I'll address a few more here. You may have noticed that I'm using the longsword in these clips. It is my favorite weapon. And so I expect the comment, imagine complaining about difficulty when you're using the easiest weapon in the game.
Bro, I am so tired of this dude, if he actually says this, like, just use another weapon. just use another weapon. Just use another weapon. I'm like, bro, dude. Dude, bro, dude, honestly, I'm gonna be straight up honest here, man. I like playing heavy bowgun. That is my favorite class to play, okay? You have a favorite class too. I'm not gonna tell you to go play something else, am I? Why are you telling me to go play something else when I enjoy my class? I am tired of this day and age that I'm tired of people telling me what to do now. Like, honestly, god damn, dude. It's straight up wild, to be honest. I had people in my comment section on a certain video telling me that it's like, oh, if you find it too easy, just go play a different weapon, you know? I'm like, no. I like heavy bowgun. I like that class. I've been playing it since the PSP days, bro. Since Freedom 2 with the Tiger X cover art on it, okay? And then Freedom Unite with the fucking Nargacuga cover. Portable 3rd as well, okay? I didn't play any of the Nintendo games. I did play the demo for one of them, which was on the 2DS. But I'm just saying.
So let's deal with this one now. First of all, I also used the longsword in Monster Hunter World, and my impression remains the same. In fact, I used the longsword in Monster Hunter World when I came back to it to test its difficulty against Monster Hunter Wilds. And despite the fact that I'm extremely experienced with the longsword in World, and that I'm very accustomed to the moveset of the monsters in Monster Hunter World, I still find them more challenging than the monsters in Monster Hunter Wilds.
Yep. Same thing with Monster Hunter. Same thing with with the heavy bowgun. Same thing. The same goddamn thing.
Even though I just started playing Wilds and I have not yet become accustomed to their movesets. And the second point is a bit more controversial. People may not like this, but I think it's true. The longsword is not the easiest weapon to use in Monster Hunter Wilds. I think the dual blades are easier. I think the bowguns are easier. I think...
Dude, the heavy bowguns are so fucking easy. It's boring as shit, dude. I will vouch on his validity about saying that the heavy bowgun is easy, bro. Because it fucking is, dude. Because it is, dude. The bowgun, for the heavy bowgun, specifically for my class, there is no challenge whatsoever. No challenge. I want to get rid of literally longsword, low skill ceiling, but hard to start in my opinion.
I think the gun lance is easier, and the sword and shield.
He just said the fucking gun lance is the easiest thing, and calling fucking Asmongold literally a pleb. Oh man. You gotta love to see that. He took the easiest way out, chat. He took the easiest way out, bro. Asmongold took the easiest way out in this game. That's all I gotta say, man.
And I think that had I used any of those weapons for my first playthrough, I would have had a much easier time and carded less.
Dude, you wanna know something, my man? You wanna know something, dude? I got carded 0. 0. Cero. No me morí para nada. Para nada. I didn't die a single time, bro. I didn't get carded not even once when I was playing through the story. That shit was pathetic, dude.
In fact, I think the only reason that I carded was because I was using the longsword, and let me explain why. You see, to get really good at the longsword, you have to be able to EI Spirit / monsters attacks. And the timing of certain attacks can be weird, and which ones are weird, it differs from monster to monster. So even if you understand the longsword very well, you still need to also understand the monster to look good fighting it. And the process of getting good at that means basically putting yourself in front of the monster in Special Sheath and getting hit over and over until you master the time.
You want to know something? YouTube comment sections don't affect me. People on the internet don't affect me because you want to know the reason why? I grew up in Call of Duty lobbies. I am toxicity itself. You do not want to know my toxicity side. That's all I gotta say.
And since I was doing that even the first time I was going through the game, I was much more likely to cart than I would have been had I been using a different weapon. It's easier to just get out of the way, or if you're using the sword and shield or gun lance, it's easier to just get a perfect block.
Yep.
I feel that the perfect guard is much easier to do than the EI Spirit Slash. The timing is much more generous, and even if you fail it, you still happen to be blocking.
Yep.
Meaning it's much less dangerous overall. So I
Take care,
don't believe that
Geekbot.
using the longsword made my experience through the low rank and the high rank easier. I think it made it harder. Finally, the next thing people will say when talking about difficulty is some version of don't use the palico, don't make armor, don't upgrade the armor.
Man, I love, bro, these people making up excuses and everything. Bro, honestly.
Don't use weapons, or something to that effect. And it's true that you can have a harder experience by foregoing certain mechanics. But what I'm criticizing is the game's balance. I'm not a challenge runner. I have no problem with challenge runners, but it's not the experience I'm looking for.
Yep.
A big part of the appeal of Monster Hunter is crafting equipment and making interesting builds with that equipment. Build making is half the game. Tinkering with your sets and optimizing is fun.
Yep.
To stop doing that for the sake of having a more difficult experience would mean foregoing one of the most interesting parts of the game, which would still be bad. What I want is to use everything I have available to me, and then, having done that, still have the monsters be engaging in the low and high rank, and challenging at the endgame.
Yeah. I want my apology on that video. Thank you very much for those people who were commenting in that video. I'll wait for my apology, okay? Alright? You can send it over to, literally, fuckyou@gmail.com, so there you go.
I like the palico. I don't want to get rid of the palico. I like seeing him around, I like what he does. I just am objecting to how well he does it. Yes, I can have a more challenging experience by foregoing the palico, and I did. I put him away many times throughout my playthrough. But again, I would be foregoing the enjoyment of using my palico in exchange for an increased difficulty. What I'm asking for is to have both at once, and I don't think that's unreasonable. Now the next comment I'd like to deal with is the gatekeeping comment. You're gatekeeping by calling for the game to be more difficult.
I fucking hate this one. I hate this one the most too, man. I fucking hate this comment too. Oh my lord, man.
My response to this one is simply no, I'm not. And I think it's just that simple. No, I'm not. What I'm doing is simply criticizing the things I don't like
Exactly.
and calling for the things I do like.
Exactly.
The fact that I want more challenge has nothing to do with anybody else.
Yep.
I am not thinking about other people.
Yep.
I am simply telling you what I want.
Yep.
And it just so happens that some number of people are going to agree with me
Yep.
and want the same thing.
Yep.
It is Capcom that is in the privileged position to see me express my grievances and my wants, and see everybody else in the community do the same, and decide the direction of the series. Let's talk about the story in Monster Hunter Wilds, and the story in Monster Hunter in general.
Oh shit.
Monster Hunter Wilds has a really bad story.
Oh! Oh! God, dude, I love this video, dude. I fucking love this video so far, man.
But in its defense, so does Monster Hunter World and Monster Hunter Rise.
Of course.
And in this case, I'm not going to quibble about degree.
Of course.
Because I think the degree is more or less the same. They're all kind of bad.
Yeah.
Many people in the community think Monster Hunter 4 Ultimate has the best story, and I agree, but it is the best out of a pretty poor pile.
Really? It has a story in it? I didn't even knew it had a story, to be honest.
But even so, there's a lot that I like about the Monster Hunter story. It's just that it has very little to do with the game's plot.
Yep.
The following is a staff comment for the Monster Hunter Illustration 1. Even those who do not draw have a set of preconceived notions regarding how a given creature moves. That's why we can't really fudge any major point with regards to a monster's physical structure and movements. If we do, the players are more likely to reject the reality of the monster in question. That's why we spend a lot of time not only on the skeletal structure, but also the meat and the skin that we put on any given monster. It can be pretty difficult to try and imagine how the skin should hang off of a certain fictional creature, but as I look back through the illustrations for the game, I can see how we improved as we went along, and that makes me happy. In the Monster Hunter Illustrations 2, Hirochika Nagaki said the following. For the Monster Hunter titles, I try to capture a sense of living creatures in the design. That's the theme I follow. I take into consideration not just the thought of making them look cool, but also their dignity as wild creatures, and elements that would facilitate play as a game. When asked about the inclusion of the blatantly fantastical monsters next to the grounded ones, Kaname says the following. When you create a world full of mythical creatures like the Kirin, the entire world starts to feel like a very fantastical place with no basis in reality. Our focus for the world of Monster Hunter was to create a place that would feel like it could be real. By tossing in a decidedly fantasy-themed creature into this realistic world, it really makes the Kirin stand out in the player's eyes. And we hope that such unexpected surprises will make the world a more exciting place for them to explore. That's why we made the decision to include creatures like the Kirin.
I love Kirin, dude. I really do. I think Kirin is such a cool ass fucking looking ass mythical creature, to be honest.
In a different staff comment, he says, with Monster Hunter 2, we intentionally tried going with a more fantastical feel to our designs and added new ancient dragon types. We also hoped that this new infusion of ancient dragon monsters would help make existing monsters like the Rathian and Rathalos seem more realistic as far as this world was concerned. So, the thing with Monster Hunter, especially the mainline titles, is that the monster designs and the environment they're found in are attempting to be realistic. They're trying to depict fictional creatures that evolved in a fantasy environment. In the portable games, that's less of a focus, but in Monster Hunter World and Monster Hunter Wilds, they really leaned all into it.
Yeah.
The monsters are not magic, there is a naturalistic reason why they're able to do the things they do.
Yeah.
For example, the Quematries. Its tail emits a flammable oil. He creates fire by igniting that oil by dragging his tail across the ground. Xiwu's blades are made from its secreted mucus. Tobikadachi builds up static electricity in its fur, and Ajarikans coat their back with metal which they then heat through friction. Now we can argue about how successful any one of these attempts are at being realistic, but the point is that there is an attempt being made. In any other game, the dragon can breathe fire just because it's magic, it can just breathe fire. The Rathalos, though, has the flame sac. There's a non-magic reason why they can do the things they do. The Elder Dragons, though, are more fantastical. You don't know what they are. And by you, I mean the people in the game world don't know how they're doing the things they're doing. The researchers in the world see Elder Dragons as so powerful and so unusual that they don't want to classify them as normal animals. They don't know what they are.
Yep.
And I think the reason for that is because Monster Hunter is depicting man's ancient relationship with nature. Regular monsters are how we viewed animals. Dangerous animals. They're monsters. We don't know what's in the forest. We don't know the nature of all the monsters in the forest. We just know that sometimes people go into the forest and they don't come back out. It's easy to see how ancient man might have seen a tiger or a bear as a monster, when the only thing you have to defend yourself against it is a stick or a stone spear. Elder Dragons, though, I think are metaphors, they're representatives of natural phenomena, like firestorms, hurricanes, tornadoes, diseases even. And together they represent the friction mankind used to have with nature, and in some ways still has with nature.
True.
In the world of Monster Hunter, humanity wants to be prosperous, and to do that they need to find their place in an ecosystem that is very hostile. They need to assert themselves, they need to assert their right to survive and thrive, while also seeing themselves as stewards of nature. And this is the part of Monster Hunter's story that I like. I'm invested in the monsters, I'm invested in the environment, I'm invested in the romance of being a hunter that helps your community by practicing your trade. Another way to say it is that I like Monster Hunter stories in spite of their stories. In fact, their stories interfere with my ability to enjoy the game. The more they railroad me, the more they force me to look at their stupid story, the less I'm able to enjoy it.
Oh, dude, he is nailing everything that I have criticism about the game itself. So fucking beautiful, dude. What an actual beautiful video so far, man.
And for this reason, I think Monster Hunter Wilds is the worst offender. I hated this story.
Tashin, out there, I saw many things. Many people, creatures, all living life to the fullest. Life. Is that what you call this? Constructed husks they can't even eat? Locked away when they're no longer needed? Arkfeld.
Oh, just letting you know, right? The voice actress for this is a female. Just letting you know. That's a female voice. Okay? For those who don't know, that's a female. So
All it wanted was to be free. I don't know which of us is worse.
God, this line. Oh, God, dude, this scene was so cringe, dude. This scene was so fucking terrible, dude. I swear to God, dude. God, this scene was cringe.
I'm not going to waste time harping on about the story. I haven't seen anyone make the attempt to defend it. It seems that it's pretty universally disliked. So trying to analyze the story is really more than it deserves, and it would just be beating a dead Arkveld. And I feel like I do enough of that.
No, you just beat it more, man. Just beat it more so they'll never come back alive. Yeah, young men are often portrayed by women. Well, it's because, like, well, it's always been like that for voice acting, right? Because females can do, like, you know, because you know, bringing in a child or so to actually do voice acting for a child, you know, you can't really do that because of the law and everything like that, right? You gotta abide the law or so. So that's why, like, some women who can actually do like kid voices or so are like the better options to do. You know, those are always the better ones. You know, I know this for a fact because I've done yeah, usually guy voices are just sometimes a little bit too deep or so. It kind of really depends on, like, depending on the voice actor, right? But me personally, I voice acted I didn't do a voice acting tryout, but I did a competition or so for a voice acting for a certain scene, and it was Midori or so with All Might doing the one scene from the movie or so where they're kind of like dashing around and shit, and they had to do like the ultimate like punch smash or so on the villain, and that's pretty much about it. That was my scene. That's what I did.
In the endgame. A more relevant topic that I will talk about is what bothers me about the structure. Because I expect the Monster Hunter story to be bad, the structure, though, is worse than normal.
Yes.
So let me explain how I like playing my Monster Hunter games. After it makes me do the initial assigned quests that I have to do, I look around for people to talk to. I like doing all of the optional content at the time in which it's delivered to me.
Dude, I do not want to do any of the optional quests in this game. I am sorry, I really don't want to.
I'm not a fan of just speeding through the story. I am not an advocate of this idea that the real game starts at the end game, 20 hours in.
Yep.
No, I like to take my time. I like to meander.
Mm-hmm.
I like getting a sense for the world.
Mm-hmm.
Like I was saying before, my appreciation of the story comes from my personal appreciation of the world, of the monsters, the environments, and the fantasy of doing quests, doing things to help out people within your community.
Dude, I had so much fun in Monster Hunter World, dude, on the console version, because it came out on console, right? Because I was playing console. Dude, you guys have no idea how many hours I spent just like walking around or so in the world, exploring, looking at all the cool things, like opening up the map even more and everything. Dude, man, it just felt so good, bro. Like, dude, I enjoyed doing all. Dude, I spent so many hours playing that game. I did